Hey guys, just wanted to say that Mysteries of Dysteria now officially has its own t-shirt line. You can get the whole crew. We have Blank, Ricky, Thorin, and Cozy, all with their own special designs. You can get them in 3 different colors, multiple different sizes. All of that is on my Etsy shop, which is in the link in the description down below. Yeah, hope to see you enjoy the rest of the video. Hello everybody, it's your pal E.V.A here, and it's back with another chill speed paint video. I know I've been making a lot of those recently, but I have a lot of artworks that I made that I thought would be good to share in chill speed paint videos. So yeah, so for this one, the characters that I'm drawing here are from another video of mine that I recently did, this one, where I redesigned my old Steven Universe characters as if they were in my own universe. So this artwork that I'm doing right here is 2 of those characters, Captain and Shiro. Just for a quick recap on their information, Captain is a rogue android who became a pirate captain, obviously from their name, and Shiro was a stowaway who became the right-hand man of the ship, and he is in Akuma. If you want to know some more about them and some more about how they came to be concept-wise, you can check out that video if you haven't already. But yeah, this artwork that I'm doing here is a bit of a concept art of what their ship in World War would look like. I talked about it a little bit in that video, but the world that they live on is actually a moon that circles another world, and the moon and the earth have different societies. One is on the moon is a very cyberpunk Victorian world. It's a mix of cyberpunk and Victorian, and they have some fantasy creatures who live on there, but it's mostly the people who make the androids, who Captain is an android, and there are lots of other androids on there. And on the moon they have access to a bunch of cyberpunk-esque technology. So yeah, this is a bit of concepting world of what that world would look like, and also what their ship would look like, because I imagine it's like an airship type of ship, where it kind of looks like your typical pirate ship that would float on water, but it floats in the air because that's cool. Or more accurate would be to say that it flies in the air. But yeah, interestingly, when working on the city underneath them, which we'll talk about in a little bit, a lot of it was kind of unintentionally inspired by the first artwork I made for Rosaline Pearl, when these were still Steven Universe characters. It was the comic art that I made that was supposed to resemble Homeworld. So it does kind of resemble Homeworld a little bit, but it's more of a city rather than what was going on Homeworld in Steven Universe. Yeah, for the pirate ship, I had to get a lot of references for pirate ships, specifically what the side and sort of the inside looks like, since that's the angle we're looking at here. And yeah, the world is very cyberpunk-esque, and the Earth, which I forgot to mention, the Earth that the moon circles is all fantasy, except for one place. There is a city colony that they made to sort of a truce between the Earth and the moon, because they used to fight a lot. But yeah, the world underneath them is very fantasy, and that's where Shiro comes from. Shiro comes from that world, but stowed away on an airship or an air carrier ship from the moon, and because he was looking for his sister being Mizumi, another character that I showed before. But yeah, he was stowed away looking for his sister, and that's why Shiro aesthetically looks a bit more different to Captain. It's because he's not from the moon, he's not from the cyberpunk world, he's from the fantasy world, so he looks more fantasy. In this drawing of Captain and Shiro, what is going on here is currently Captain is hanging over the edge of their ship, holding on to some of the rope things they have on there, and Shiro is trying to both stop them from falling and also trying not to fall himself. It's a very actiony scene, even though there's not a whole lot going on other than these two. But yeah, it's a lot more. It's got a lot more action stuff going on and a lot more character interaction than I have done in the past before. I do like making artworks with characters interacting, except for one thing about character interacting artworks that I hate, which is trying to keep their line art separate. Now with my style, what I love doing is to color the line art in a specific color that correlates to the character. So for example here, Captain, I draw in with purple for their line art, and for Shiro it's more of like a very dark gray, so that it's not just pure black. And the difficult thing about that is trying to keep their line art separate, which I failed to do here. I drew them all in one, forgetting that I would need to color them in separately, so I had to spend some time trying to color in their line art separately without it like merging together too much. And I think in the end I might have just gone with making their color all one color, but I think I eventually got it fixed so that their colors would be different. I had a hard time with the colors in the background at first, just getting the color palette down. I had to take some colors from a palette that I have saved in Clip Studio, which is just one that I made with random cyberpunk-esque colors that I thought looked cool. But I was eventually able to make a pretty cool color palette from that. It involves a lot of pinks and purples, of course, but also a little bit of blue. And yeah, later on too, what you'll see in the sky was pretty easy to render. It was very fun, lots of stars and stuff, because there's not really an atmosphere there. You can breathe on there, but it's not like the type of atmosphere that creates a blue sky, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's actually scientifically possible to have an atmosphere that doesn't change the color of the sky, but you know what? It's a made-up world. Robots don't exist. Androids, they do exist, but not like these type of androids. So yeah, I get to do what I want. But something that I do in the sky is actually add in the world that the moon circles that I was just talking about. And that was really interesting because I'm imagining it looking pretty similar to Earth with lots of blues and greens. And yeah, Shiro and Captain's relationship is so fun. Captain is very chaotic and just loves doing what they want to do and not listen to anyone, and they try to take charge and stuff, and they're just super fun. And Shiro is a bit more cautious and reserved. He's like the older sibling out of his family, and he does try his best to keep Captain in line, but sometimes he just goes along with it. I imagine this is a little unintentional. I've been watching Doctor Who recently, and it does remind me of like the Doctor's relationship with some of his companions a little bit, if that's like a going off point. If you've seen Doctor Who, you might be familiar with what I'm talking about, which is a big coincidence because I made these two before watching that show, which is very good, by the way. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I talked a bit about Captain and Shiro and their world and everything, so I will go ahead and let the rest of the speed paint play out as I usually do, and I'll talk to you at the end. thank you again so much for watching this video. Like I said, this artwork that I made was a lot more action filled, especially since I decided to add some speed lines at the very end to convey that, and a bit of motion blurring, which are some tips to make a scene feel like it's moving more, from a comic artist perspective at least. That's what I tend to do. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I have my artworks in my Instagram linked below. I have comics on my webtoon. These two unfortunately don't have a comic, although I have played around with the idea of making like animated shorts for all of my miracle characters. So if you want to see more of these two, I could potentially do that sometime in the future. Not near in the future, but in the future. And I have my comic on my Etsy that you can buy, Lost Hearts, as well as other things like my t-shirts for Mysteries of Dysteria. And that's pretty much it. I will see you all in the next video. Bye!